Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shmuel, right?
What is it?
Where exactly where are we at? Ben Shmossos, right?
Yeah. 2 dots. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Exactly, right there.
All right, I'm going to mute everybody. Hold on. All right,
good morning, everybody. We're Daf Lamed Hey Amud Aleph. We're a little behind. This is actually Friday's blot, but my goal is to get you out of here by 8:30 and we're all caught up. So most of the Gemara's moved. So we got to maybe around 10, 11 lines from the bottom on Lamed Hey Amud Aleph by the 2 dots. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel. So Bein Hashmashos de Rabbi Yehuda Kohanim Tovlim Bo. So we said Bein Hashmashos de Rabbi Yehuda. Just to recap, it's been a couple of days. Rabbi Yehuda said Bein Hashmashos is basically from the time the sun sets. Actually, it's machlokes in terms of time the sun sets, or a little bit afterwards. Basically, for a period of time. So we'll assume when the sun sets until maybe it could be 18 minutes later, half a mil, 3/4 of a mil is machlokes in terms of how much. But it starts when the sun goes below the horizon. For a period of a few minutes after, so then the Kohanim can be toivel there. So the Gemara says, no, in other words, they can go there. No, they have to be toivel during the day, so they can still be toivel during the Bein Hashmashos and eat the truma afterwards. So Laman, according to Elim Rabbi Yehuda, if you're saying according to Rabbi Yehuda, so Sveikahu, that's a suffix itself. So how could you say, according to Rabbi Yehuda, who holds Bein Hashmashos, which is a suffix day, suffix night, can hold that they go ahead and be toivel during that time? Even according to him, it's a suffix. Ella, Bein Hashmashos Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi. Rather, must mean that someone can go ahead and during the time of Bein Hashmashos, according to Rabbi Yehuda, according to Rabbi Yossi, people can go ahead and be toivel in the mikvah during Bein Hashmashos Rabbi Yehuda. Kohanim toivel bo. Then the Kohanim can do it. So Gora says pshit. That's obvious because according to Rabbi Yossi, he held that the Bein Hashmashos is instant like that. So what's the chiddush there? What would you said? Maybe you'd say that the Rabbi Yossi, the moment of when day turns into night, according to Rabbi Yossi, is during the time period of Rabbi Yehuda. So Kamash Malan, the Shalom Bein Hashmashos Rabbi Yehuda, the Hadar Maskil Bein Hashmashos Rabbi Yossi. Come learn from here that no, that the entire Bein Hashmashos of Rabbi Yehuda ends prior to the moment of, or the instant Bein Hashmashos of Rabbi Yossi, and therefore, according to Rabbi Yossi, if a Kohen is toivel during Bein Hashmashos, it would be okay according to him. And Amar Rabbi Yochanan, halach Rabbi Yehuda le'inyan Shabbos, halach Rabbi Yossi le'inyan Truma. The halach is like Rabbi Yehuda. In other words, the Bein Hashmashos like we hold like Rabbi Yehuda when it comes to Shabbos. So we'll soon explain. The halach is like Rabbi Yossi when it comes to Truma. So Bishlam halach Rabbi Yehuda le'inyan Shabbos the Chumra. I understand the halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda when it comes to Shabbos because it comes to Chumrah. In other words, what? We want to start Shabbos the earliest. So the earliest amount of Bein Hashmashos is Rabbi Yehuda, who holds that Bein Hashmashos starts at sunset when it goes below the horizon. But what's this Chumrah? What's this halacha by Truma? Samahi ilem tefillah. If you're going to say by tefillah, sveikahi. So how could you say you hold like Rabbi we hold like Rabbi Yossi that? That in other words, we wait for his man of Bein Hashmashos. That's later on. We said it's a suffix. We said even earlier that that it's only a suffix. So how could you go ahead and be toivel during that zman? It will be a kula. So Ella rather la achilas truma doesn't mean to be toivel. Doesn't rather to mean to go ahead and dip. Rather it means to eat the truma. The loyachli kohanim truma ad shalom Bein Hashmashos Rabbi Yossi. In other words, we hold like Rabbi Yossi when it comes to truma that they can't go ahead and eat their truma, i.e., assume it's night until after the Bein Hashmashos of Rabbi Yossi. And Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel, Keichav Echad Yom. 1 star is, if you see 1 star, it's day. Shnai Bein Hashmashos. 2 is Bein Hashmashos, this twilight period. And Shloisha Laila. And 3 stars is night. And Tanya Mihake, similarly, learn Keichav Echad Yom, Shnayim Bein Hashmashos, Shloisha Laila. Similarly, we learn in the Brisa that 1 is day, 2 is twilight, and 3 is night. And Amar Rabbi Yossi, Loi Kechavim Gedolim Hanirim B'Yom. We're not talking about stars, the large stars that can be even seen during the day, and not small stars that can only be seen in the middle of the night. Rather, medium stars, right? 3 medium stars means night, and 2 means day. And Amar Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Zida, Ha'oiseh Malacha B'Shnei Bein Hashmashos Chayiv Chatas. Right? Famous Gemara. Now, one who does malacha during 2 Bein Hashmashos, in other words, Bein Hashmashos of Friday and Bein Hashmashos of Saturday. So that person is chayav chatas. Now, normally, if a person does a lav on during Bein Hashmashos, so you can't be chayav because it's suffix yom, suffix laila. But if he does the exact same time, Friday night or Friday Ben Hashmashos and Saturday Ben Hashmashos, then he's chayiv because Monoshach. If Ben Hashmashos is day, so then he's pater from Friday, but he's chayiv from Saturday. And if it's night, then he's chayiv for Friday and pater from Saturday. And Rashi points out, we're also talking about where he does the malacha, the entire Ben Hashmashos. You know, it's because then, or else you can argue, maybe he did early enough Ben Hashmashos on Friday to still be day, and on Saturday night when he did it, there was Ben Hashmashos later on. He says, no, we're talking about a case where he does the entire Ben Hashmashos, and therefore, he whatever it is, if it's night or day, he actually covers it. So Amar Le Rava L'Shami, Asun Delaykim Luchel B'Shira Derabanan Adeshimsha. Right, you guys who don't know exactly when the shear is, according to Rabbanan, know is when is sunset in order to go ahead and light candles. The Shimsha Reish Dikla Aslu Shaga Aslu Shaga. So that was when the sun is, you know, by the top of the date trees, the palm trees, when it's going down, right when it gets to the top of there, that's when you guys should light, because soon after is going to be the sun will set, and therefore Shabbos is going to begin. So B'Yom Hamuna and Mai. So what do you do on a cloudy day? So in this city, go ahead and look at the roosters. I guess the way they behave a little differently. You know, they come in, so therefore they know when right before sunset. So therefore you look at their behavior, and Medabra out in the fields, or they look at the ravens. Also, their behavior changes once right before sunset. Inami adani. Also, nidani is the type of grass that grows. And these, I guess, they face the sun, you know, as the sun goes. So they face the sun, and therefore, towards the end of the day, then they turn around. So therefore, also, when you see that they turn around, then it's time to go ahead and light, because you know Shabbos is within moments. So Tan Rabban Sheish Tekiyos Taikin Erev Shabbos. So we're on Lamed Hey Amud Beis, around 15 lines from the top, 2 dots. So Tan Rabban Sheish Tekiyos Taikim Erev Shabbos. So the 6 tekiyos, 6 blasts, they used to go ahead and blow from a shofar on Erev Shabbos, on Friday, in order to bring in the Shabbos. What were they for? So Rishon Lahaftos Amin Mulacha Shabbasados. The first one was done in order to tell people who were out in the distant fields that to stop their work and to start bringing it in. Shnia, the second blast was Lahaftil Er V'Chaniyos, in order to basically to tell the people in the city, and the people in the marketplaces and the storefronts to go ahead and shut it down and come home. And Shlishis, the third was Lahadlik Asaner, to go ahead and light the candles. Divrei Rav Nosson, that's been Rav Nosson. Rav Yehuda Nasi, Aimer Shlishis La'Leichletz Tefillin. Rav Yehuda said no. Rav Nasi said the third one was to go ahead and to tell you when to take off your tefillin, because they used to go ahead and wear the tefillin all day. The Shaya Kedei Tzlias Dag Koton, and then they used to go basically the time it takes to go ahead and cook a small dish like a fish or something like that, or to go ahead and stick the bread into the oven, and in order for that to go ahead and bake real quick. So you wait a small period of time, basically, 15, 20 minutes, who knows? V'tokeya, u'maria, v'tokeya. Then you blow the last 3, numbers 4, 5, and 6, a tekiya, true, and tekiya, v'shavis. And that signifies the beginning of Shabbos immediately. And but what do you do about the Babylonians? They go ahead and they do a tekiya, then a trua at the end of the shaivsin, then they start Shabbos. So they start the Shabbos from a trua, right? They don't do tekiya, trua, tekiya. They just do tekiya, trua. So taikim marin. What do you mean? They only do tekiya, trua, havilu chamisha. Then it's only 5 blasts, not 6. Ella shetaikin v'chayzim v'taikim marin. Rather, what do they do? Instead of doing tekiya, trua, tekiya, they do tekiya, trua, umarin v'shaysin. Then they have their Shabbos. Mitach marin. Then they have the Shabbos from the last blast of Trua. So the Gemara answers, no, minhag of B'yadayim. So the minhag, this is the minhag of their fathers, the minhag of fathers to do this way. So therefore, we're not going to go ahead and stop them to be aiker, to uproot that which they've already set as a standard or custom. So Masin lo Rabbi Yehuda lo Rabbi Yitzchak. So says Rabbi Yehuda told Rabbi Yitzchak. Shnia lahalik as an air. So the second blast is to go ahead and light the candle. So Gemara says, come on, who's that like? Like Reb Nosson, like Reb Yehuda. It's not like Reb Nosson who said the third blast, and not like Reb Yehuda Nasi who said the fourth blast, because the third one was for lachos as a tefillin. Ella shlishis, right? He couldn't say that. Ella shlishis as the kaner. Rather, he must say not the second one, but the third one to go ahead and hint to light the candles. Come on, who's that like Reb Nosson? That's like Reb Nosson. And Tani the Beit Rabbi Shmuel and Sheish Tekiyos Taikin. There's 6 tekiyos that we go ahead and blast Erev Shabbos. On Erev Shabbos, he's chilit to go tekiya rishayna. So once he goes in, he blows the first one. So you know how the besada miladar milacharish, molasses kamalacha shabasadas. Then the people who are digging out in the fields and plowing, so they begin to stop their malach in the fields. But the people who are closer in town, they don't go ahead yet and go inside. Rather, they wait for the people who are in the fields to come into town, and they don't be. Only then do they start, coming in. And only then will they all come in together. But still, the stores are open. And the front parts of the markets where people lay out their wares are also open. Then once they have the second blast, then they go ahead and they put away the marketplace and lock up the stores. We still have the hot water still cooking on top of the stove, and the dishes are still on the still on a stove top. Then comes the third one, they go ahead and remove the food. They go ahead and they cover the food. They do hatmana. We'll soon discuss hatmana, right? They'll go ahead and wrap and insulate, right, some of the food so it stays warm, right? It's something that doesn't add heat, but rather keeps the heat. The hili kamali, then the person lights candles. The shaykadetz le'asdag katan, and then they go ahead and basically, after the time of lighting, wait the amount of time it takes to cook a small fish, or in order to go ahead and stick the dough into the oven, right? Similarly, we do 20 minutes before the tokeya, umaria, v'tokeya. Then they go ahead and they blow 3 last blasts of the shabbos. Then they go ahead and begin the Shabbos. And Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Chanina, Shemati sheim ba l'halik achar sheish tekiyos madlik shaharei nasnu chamin shir l'chazan haknas l'haylik shayfer lebeso. I heard, said Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Chanina, that if, let's say, a person after the 6th blast where Shabbos is supposed to begin, he didn't like it. He still has some time. Why? Because there's the person who went up into the tower in the middle of town and they blew the shofar so people could hear. And then afterwards he had to do something with the shofar. So what did he do? He had to bring it back to his house. But if Shabbos started right away, he couldn't bring it back to his house. So therefore, perhaps that took place, 3 minutes before the actual Shabbos. So in other words, if you do within that 3 minutes, so then you can go ahead and still light candles. If that's the case, no, we don't go ahead and say that, all of a sudden the Chachamim's words weren't exact. Perhaps you can add a couple minutes. No, the Chachamim were definite in terms of time. Once they blow the last 3, then it's Shabbos. He said, no, they actually left a special place over there in the tower where he blew it, so he can leave the shofar there and not go ahead and be required to carry it back to his home. Why? Because this is going to be Brisa number 1, as I'm first introducing, because the Brisa says over there, you're not allowed to touch a shofar or a chatzotzos. Or chatzotzos is a trumpet. You can't blow it, which was also blown in the base of Mikdash. That was more of a straight horn, so you couldn't. Why? Because you can't touch a shofar or a chatzotzos, and therefore they had a place to leave it up there. So the Gemara says, "Vatanya, who says you can't touch? Vatanya shofar metaltav, a chatzotzos ain't metaltav." Brisa number 2 says a shofar you can touch, but a trumpet you can't. Why is that? Why chatzotzos is not, and the other one you can't. So Rabbi Yosef, like kasha, not a contradiction. Kam b'yachid, kam b'tzibur. If it's a yachid, then there's a use for a shofar usunsi. But if it's a tzibur, then you're allowed to. And Amar le'abai v'yachid l'maychazi. So for a yachid, why is it permissible? Since you go ahead and put water in it and maybe perhaps drink out of the shofar because it's rounded and it can hold water. So therefore, it's not muksa. But a straight trumpet, since it has no use of holding water, therefore it would not be. It would be muksa. The Gemara says, turn the page. Now this is Shabbos' page. So it says, excuse me, so since you can go ahead and hold water even for 18 so therefore be permitted. So the Gemara says, no, but tzibur nami. Well, one second. The shofar owned by the tzibur also has a use. Why? Because the tzibur has to go ahead and provide and support those who are poor, so it can be used for a poor child. And furthermore, all the time we learn a third brisa. So just like you can go ahead and touch a shofar, you can touch a chatzotzos. The third brisa says they're both mutter to touch. The first brisa said they're both aser. Second one said shofar mutter, chatzotzos aser, and the third one says they're both aser. So which one is it? So mani Eloi kasha ha Rabbi Yehuda ha Rabbi Shimon ha Rabbi Nechem. One is the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda holds muksa. But he holds muksa only for things that have no use. But since a shofar has a use, so therefore the brisa that said you're allowed to go ahead and use it for a child, right? For a shofar is not muksa because it can be used to feed a kid, is Rabbi Yehuda. And that which holds by a trumpet is muksa because it has no use. And Rabbi Shimon, who holds, does not hold of muksa, is very lenient when it comes to muksa. He holds that both are not muksa, and therefore both are permitted to touch. And the last one is Rabbi Chani. Rabbi Chani holds the most severe. He actually holds that when it comes to muksa, only things that for its use, since the shofar's main use is not that of holding water, it is that to blow noises, and that you can't make those noises on Shabbos. So therefore, it all is muksa. Umay shofar, and what does it mean? Shofar. That's when it says shofar, it really means chatzotzos. Rav Chisa, Hani tlas mili ishtani shamayu michara beis hamikdash. There were three things whose names changed from the time of the Beis Hamikdash. In other words, the Beis Hamikdash, it was known as one thing, and then later on, years later, generations later, it was known as something else. All right, what are they? Chatzorsa, shofara, and shofar chatzorsa. So the chatzorsos, right, during the time of the Beis Hamikdash was the straight one, and then later on, chatzorsos was the curved one, and vice versa. And shofar was opposite. So lamai nafkamina, what's an nafkamina? The shofar shofar shana. The shofar shofar shana. In other words, you can't use a chatzorsos. You have to use something that comes from a ram. So therefore, you have to be careful to use the proper one, not just go after the name, but make sure you take the one that comes from the animal that's curved and not the straight one. And arava, tzavtzavza, and tzavtzavza arava. And also the arava is a tzavtzavza, and tzavtzavza is arava known as one. The tzavtzavza is possible for lulav because its leaves are rounded, right, and its stem is white, and the arava is, I guess, is red, and it's different. So therefore, you have to go ahead and be careful, right? You have to go ahead and be careful in terms of which one you use, and not just go by the name, right? The arava, but make sure it's the arava, which is a kosher species. L'may nafkamina, there was nafkamina, lulav, for lulav. And finally, psara, psarasa, psarasa, psara. So the different types of, I guess, measurements of tables, and there were different sizes. One was a psara, and that was psarasa, and they switched names. So what's the mafkamina? For commerce, for business, so now to make sure that you don't just buy the name, but you buy in terms of what the asset is. And Amar Abaye, and says Abaye, also we have another one. Huvlila bekese and bekese huvlila. Different parts of the stomach. So one is the thicker. One is the so I think is what's it called? One is the reticulum, right? That was the reticulum, right? I guess that's part of one of the stomachs that's very thick, and so that thickness is if you eat one side, is not considered to be a treifa, but it goes through two sides, it's no good. And the other part of the stomach is a much thinner, the omasum. And that part, if you have one side, so then it'll be a treifa. So you have to know in terms of not necessarily what it's called, but which one is which in order when you deal with treifas. Right? M'sheitzad and treifa. Right? So the Ma'alav Kamino is not. Lamechat Shanin says, so when you find Inil, that's in the side of the Oivei Kaisos. The Mitzad Echa Ksheira, if it's one side Ksheira, Mishnei Tzadim Treifa, then two sides is Treifa. The other one, even one side is Treifa. And Namar Rashi, you have a Namar. Also, we have another case, Bavel, Borsif, and Borsif, Bavel. Bavel was known in place of as Borsif, and Borsif is Bavel. And it was that the name of Bavel actually switched to a place called Borsif, and Borsif switched to Bavel. And that was done later on. And Lamai Nafkamina, what's an Nafkamina? Legite Nashim. The Nafkamina is for Gite Nashim. You have to write the name of the place, and the people in Bavel wrote Lishma. So therefore, you have to be very careful when it comes to Gittin that you're actually referring to Bavel and not Borsif, and make sure you do not go ahead and mix up the two. And Hadron Alach Bameh Madlikin. Wait, but Mayor, you're all you're muted, Mayor. I know. There we go. All right. Finished. I think we started this. Did we start this parak under? We started this parak on Zoom. I just don't want to wake my family. Mayor's dancing. Thank Mayor for bringing the house down.
I couldn't wake up my kids. They're all sleeping, so I'm like.
Beautiful. Same thing here. So I didn't want to go ahead and sing.
Are you doing the next one because I don't have the art scroll in front of me?
Oh yeah. So I'll try. I should have announced it before. I apologize. You have it in the house, or you don't have it in the house?
All my stuff is boxed up from this.
Could you wait 1 second? I'm getting.
I'll wait. I'll give everyone a 30-second break for people to get the next value. I should have.
I'm gonna run my garage.
Yeah, those who didn't have the. But this is yesterday's blot now.
Or people can use your regular Gemara. Really,
yeah. No, but some people don't even have it with them. So
I see.
he said they have to get the regular one anyway.
I
So,
got the-
because actually they have the first one, but they don't have tomorrow's.
I
Yeah,
got the regular old
What
red
about just
bar
the
from,
squid shell?
years ago.
you got the old school. Yeah. So very good. So anybody have any special plans for Chol Moed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are
Going
you guys
from
doing?
the room to the bedroom.
Oh, that's very nice. Someone sent me a link for like virtual tours. Like you can sign up in it for like an Eretz Yisrael and one of the.
I got that
Well,
also. It's
I mean,
it's actually
Israel, they
pretty
have like a
interesting.
virtual reality.
Yeah. It was through the biblicalnaturalhistory.org. Live online tours. You got that? You got your breakfast there?
Ready.
Your shake or whatever it is?
I gotta work today.
All right, fine. All right, so let's start with the Mishnah. So now the Mishnah discusses here. We're now changing paths. So Akira, we're talking about Akira. So Akira is generally a stove similar to ours with the source of heat underneath. So people put it on top. There's what to put inside in the oven. So Akira shehisukua bekash v'gvava. So if it was fueled, right, with straw or other types of gvavas also, right, part of the straw that grows lower to the ground. So these parts of the do not heat up as much, the fire is not as strong. So if you nice and aleha tapshel, you can go ahead and place on it tapshel, a cooked dish. So in other words, because the fire is not considered to be a strong, powerful fire, because the fuel is lacking, so therefore you can go ahead and put on a cooked dish, put on a tapshel. And we'll soon discuss what does it mean put it on at what point. Begevas eitzim, however, if it's with wood or other types of oil, right, from sesame oil, stronger fuel, lo yitain ad sheyigrov o ad sheyitain esafer. You can't go ahead and do it unless you go ahead and you shovel out the coals, right? Or you go ahead and you cover with ash, right? This is called grufa v'ktuma, right? This is a concept that by Hilchos Shabbos when it comes to a blech, right? Other halachas that come from there in terms of a covered fire. So grufa v'ktuma, right? That is a concept, that's an expression that's used when it comes to Hilchos Shabbos, when it comes to bishul for now. So it says you can't go ahead, and if it's these stronger fires, then you can't go ahead and use and put the eichel on it unless it is right, covered or shoveled. Right, grufa ketuma. Now, speaking of this case, whether you can put it on or you can't put it on it, Beis Shammai says we're only talking about hot water and not cooked dishes. And Beis Hillel says not only hot, but even tapshil, right? Because in other words, Beis Shammai is worried that you might come ahead and change the fire because there's a cooked dish on it. Beis Hillel, and then there's another machlokes. That's machlokes A. Machlokes B is Beis Shammai yomim noitlin v'lo machzirin. You can take the food off of it, but you can't do chazara. You can't return it and put it back on it. Beis Hillel yomim af machzirin. Beis Hillel says you can't put it back on. Okay, so there's two machlokes, and then the Gemara is actually for the next blot is going to explain this Mishnah. But now the first thing to discuss is really what the Gemara is going to touch on is how to understand. So we said, basically, you can go ahead and using the fire, you can says lo yitain, right? Now, so you can put it once it's gar fekatum. What does it mean you can put it on? Okay, so it's a machlokes. We're going to soon say machlokes. Does it mean can you put it on, meaning before Shabbos and then leave it on? Or does it mean, are you allowed to go ahead and take it off and put it back on Shabbos? Those are going to be the two tzadim, all right? And we're going to ask back and forth in terms of different proof from the Mishnah. So a question was asked. Hi lo yitain. That which our Mishnah says, lo yitain, right? Is it lo yachzir? Doesn't mean you can't return it to. Or now this is going to be the first way to understand it. This is going to be the more makel way to understand it. In other words, lo yachzir hu avali shais mashin. It means that you can't go ahead and return it, but if you want to leave it on before Shabbos, that's no problem. So afal pishin and gar fekatum. And according to this, in other words, you can leave it on even without any sort of rule of gar fekatum, even if it's not shoveled or covered. Right? Umani, whose opinion is this would be Chanani. His opinion of Chanani. The time we remember. So Chanani, Aimer, Kol Shu Kamachal Ben Jasoy. Once something is already cooked to the level of Machal Ben Jasoy, at least a third cooked, Mutter La Shaisa Agabe Kira Achav Vishen and Gar Fekatum. Right? You go ahead and leave it on a stove, even though the fire was not covered or shoveled. Okay, so this would be Hanani. This is the first opinion. In other words, that Shia, right, is completely mutter even if there's no restrictions, right? As long as it's cooked, but we're not talking about raw food at all today. So as long as it's ready, covered. Oh, Dilma, or perhaps is a second way of learning it. Like Lisha is Tanan. Maybe our Mishnah when it says you can't go ahead and put it on, it's referring to so you can only put on the ego for yikatam in ilolo. Only if you can go ahead and leave it on before Shabbos, only if it was covered or shoveled out. But if it is not, you wouldn't be able to. A kol shekain, and certainly lahakzer, and certainly you wouldn't be able to go ahead and put it back on Shabbos, right? To return it on Shabbos if it was not garfa katan. So now let's try and bring a proof as to which one our Mishnah is doing. Was our Mishnah talking about when it says lo yitain referring to chazara, or is it when it says lo yitain referring to shehiyah? So So wait, there's two different standards, two different machlokes in Mishnah, right? With Beis Shammai says hot water, not cooked dishes, and then he says only for taking away but not returning it. So Beis Shammai says only hot water and not a cooked dish. And Beis Hillel says hot water and even a cooked dish. Beis Shammai and then Beis Shammai says you can take it but not return it. And Beis Hillel says you can even return it. So Iyamar to be Shalom Elisha is to not if you so now. If you learn it the second way, in other words, that which our Mishnah says was you're not allowed to go ahead and leave it on. Hachiktani, this is what it means to say. Or now here's now I was going to explain out right the Gemara. So it says Kira Shisika Bekasher Guava Mashin Le Tapshil. So if it's only fueled by straw, right, in stalks, then you can go ahead and put on tapshil. But gives the eitzim. But if it's with the oil or the wood, lo yisha achi grafito or achi yitain afar, you should go ahead until you go ahead and shovel it out, or you put on ashes on it. Umahin mashin, and what is that which you are allowed to go ahead and leave it on? So Beis Shammai yoymin chapin of aloy tapshil. Beis Shammai says only hot and not tapshil. Beis Hillel yoymin chamin v'tapshil. Right, and Beis Hillel says no, both also hot water and cooked dish. And just like they argue when it comes to shehiyah, they also argue when it comes to chazara. Because there's a second machlokes. Beis Shammai says you can go ahead and take it, but you can't put it back. And Beis Hillel says no, you can take it and then put it back. So in other words, it makes sense because there's two machlokes. The first machlokes is when it comes to chazara. And when it comes to Shia, and then the second machlokes is Chazar. However, but if you say that which refers to the first part of the Mishnah when it says Lo Yitain Achi Gufo Achi Yitain Sefer, if you say that case, Iyamar Delach is talking about Chazara. So Tan Hachi Tani. This is what it means to say Kira Shesiga Begasher Gova Makazin La Tapshil. If it's only fueled by straw, then you can go ahead and do chazar to it with tapshil. But the eitzim, but if it's with wood or oil, but if it's with, then you can't go ahead. If it's filled with wood and oil, you can't go ahead unless it's shoveled or put ashes on it. What can they go ahead and do chazar with? So Beis Shammai says only hot water, but not a cooked dish. So and Beis Hillel says no, both water and a cooked dish. And then it says Beis Shammai Beis Hillel then Beis Shammai says you go ahead and take but not put it back. And Beis Hillel says you can even put it back. So the Gemara says, Hasul Amali. Well, it's the same machlokes. If the machlokes is the ratio is talking about chazara, then why do you have this second machlokes of Beis Shammai Yoimim Noitlin of Machzirun Beis Hillel Yoimim Machzirun? If that was the machlokes of the ratio, it must be the ratio is not talking about chazara. It must be the ratio is talking about shehiyah. So Gemara answers, Really, we're talking about the beginning of the Mishnah is talking about lahachzir tanan. And it's missing a part of the Mishnah. And this is how the Mishnah should read. If you have a stove that is going ahead, is fueled with straw, right, or the branches or the stubble from the branches, then you go ahead and bring back tapshil. But if it's with wood or oil, you can't go ahead unless you shovel out the coals or you go ahead and cover with ashes. But to leave it on, mashin. You can leave it on even if it's not covered. or if it's not shoveled. Or mahi mashin, what can they go ahead and be mashin? So Beis Shammai yoim chamin v'loy tafshil. Beis Hillel yoim chamin v'tafshil. Beis Shammai over there says no, only hot water and not the cooked dish. And Beis Hillel says no, water and even a cooked dish. V'hach chazara. Now, what knows? Why to repeat the machlokes? Because it's going says v'hach chazara. And now, which we see damir lecha, and now which we say you're allowed to be chayzer and put it back. Lav divrei hakol. He is not according to everybody. Ela machlokes, that itself is machlokes. Beis Shammai Beis Hillel. Beis Shammai yoimim neitlin v'lo machzin, because the Beis Shammai says you can only take it and not put it back. Beis Hillel yoimim af machzin. Beis Hillel says you can also be chayzer. So in other words, we answered up the Mishnah that you can't really learn a proof that way from the wording of our Mishnah. In other words, what is it referring to? So now, once again, we're back at step one. The question is, what when the Mishnah says lo yitein, you should not go ahead and put it a fire. Food in the fire, does it mean to on Shabbos to return it there, or does it mean that you can go ahead and leave it, or does it mean only to leave it on before Shabbos? You need to have a garuv v'katan. So Tashma, come listen. The Amar Rabbi Chalba, Amar Rabbi Chama, Bar Guria, Amar Rav. Lo yishanu ela al gaba. We're only talking about leaving it on top of the stove. Aval seicha aser, but inside would be aser. So that which our Mishnah is saying, Rabbi Chabot apparently is going at our Mishnah, the first part of the Mishnah, which says that, right, we're only talking about on top and on side. Inside would not be permitted. Whatever we're talking about in the Reisha is only permitted on top, not in the inside. Now, if you say lahachzir tanan, if you say our Mishnah is talking about chazara, in other words, you're only allowed to do chazara if it's garf katum, but you can do shia even if it's eno garf eno katum. Right, so Haina Deshani B'Maseicha Al Gaba. That makes sense why you can say there's a difference between garf katum. In other words, you can't go ahead and leave it on the inside, right? In a garf katum, you can only leave it on top in a garf katum. Eli Yamarta Lisha is Tana, but if you say the first part is going on Lisha, is that even Lisha needs garf katum. Mali Seicha Mali Al Gaba. If it's already garf katum, what does it make a difference if you leave it on the inside or leave it on top? Since it's already garf katum, it would be permitted to do shia. So what does it make? What does it make a difference there? So it's like, well, our answer is no. Who says Rabbi Chabal is going on the Reisha? Is talking about the first stanza and only the first stanza? We're talking about that which you only on top and not the middle. No, Asefa Kai is actually going in the middle on the latter case. Right? When we're talking about Chazara. And Beis Hillel says you can even do Chazara. And Amar Rechaban says Rechaban on that. Amar Rav Chama Bar Guya, Amar Rav Lo Yishanu Ela Al Gaba. You can only do Chazara on top. You can only do Chazara on top, right? Then even if it's Garva Katum. However, Ela Al Gaba Val Seicha Asa. But you can't do Chazara to inside the oven, right? Inside the oven, even if it's Garva Katum, you would not be permitted to do it. Right, because then it appears like cooking, and therefore we'll not be able to do it. So it's only the top. So therefore, once again, we have deflected the second proof as to which way our Mishnah is teaching. And now let's see that third case. So Toshma, come and listen. Now this is our third attempt in the end. Also, I'm going to ruin the ending. The Gemara also deflects this also. But now this is the third understanding to our Mishnah, which, as we discussed before, has, or at the beginning of the shir, has, many different understandings for halach l'maisa in terms of, what a person can leave on in terms of blech or on top of a fire, what a person can return onto a fire. But once again, this is not a halacha shir. Well, let's see. So Toshma, come and listen. Beis kiros hamisamas. If you have two kiros, if you have two stovetops next to each other, right? Hamisamas are like twins, right? Next to each other. Achas gruva ktuma, v'achas shena gruva v'ktuma. So one of them is shoveled out or is covered with ashes, and the other one is not. The one next to it is not. So al gabi gruva ktuma. So mashin al gabi gruva ktuma. Ve'in mashin al shena gruva ktuma. You can go ahead and leave. Right? It says Mashi, you can go ahead and leave on the one that's covered or the one that is shoveled, and you cannot leave on the one that's not Garvena Katum. Well, Mahi Mashi, what can they go ahead and leave out? So Beis Shammai Yoimrim V'loiklum. Beis Shammai says you can't leave anything out there. Right? In other words, even if it's Garvena Katum, you can't leave anything on it. The Beis Hillel Yoimrim Chamin Avalei Tafshil. And then Beis Hillel says no, it's only hot water, not tafshil. And Okar, and if you take it off, Divrei hakolo yachzer. Everyone holds you can't be chayzer. Divrei Rameir. That's the opinion of Rabbi Meir. Okay? So now, just mental note, this opinion of Rabbi Meir does not seem to be any opinions that we've had until now, because this Rabbi Meir seems to be way more machmir than that which we've said until now. Okay. Now, Rabbi Yehuda says, now this should actually be a little familiar to one of our opinions. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Beis Shammai Oimrim Chamin Eloi Tafshil. Beis Shammai says, no, you can go ahead and leave hot water on, but not the cooked dish. Beis Hillel Oimrim Chamin Tafshil, you can leave on both hot water and a cooked dish. And Beis Shammai Oimrim Noitlin of Eloi Machzir. And Beis Shammai says, you can go ahead and you can take it off, but you can't go ahead and return it. Beis Hillel Oimrim Av Machzir. You can even do Chazar. Now, that was this brisa. The machlokes Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir, how to understand Beis Shammai. Rabbi Meir is much more Meir, and Rabbi Yehuda is a similar opinion we had till now. So, if you say everything is fine, in other words, the second way we want to understand.
Was that for putting it on the top or putting it inside?
So whenever it says, we're referring to on top, right? Because we
referring to on top.
Yes, on top, right. So the Shia on top. Okay. Now, if we go ahead and say Tanan, that in this case, we're talking about when you're leaving on top. In other words, in our Mishnah was basically the second way of interpreting. Our Mishnah says the Yitan is referring to you should not leave on, right? See, my Delisha is Tanan, right? So Masin Mani. Who's our opinion Mishnah? Like Rabbi Huda, it's exactly the opinion of Rabbi Huda, because over here he holds that she is only mutter if it's garfakatum, and only according to Beis Hillel says you can do both water and cooked foods, and you can also do chazara, and that exactly stems with our Mishnah. But if you hold that our Mishnah is the first way we suggested and is referring to, our Mishnah is giving you qualifications, what you need to do to only return things on Shabbos. But before Shabbos, you don't need garfakatum. So Masin Samani, who's our Mishnah like? Lo Rabbi Yehuda, lo Rabbi Meir. Can't be like Rabbi Yehuda or Rabbi Meir. I Rabbi Meir kash lebeis Shammai bechada, or lebeis Hillel batarti. If it's Rabbi Meir. So you have one contradiction with Beis Shammai and two with Beis Hillel, because according to Beis Hillel, right, none of it will work, because according to Lefi Rav Meir, right, Beis Hillel says, right, you can never do chazara, right, divra kol lo yachzor, so that's always a kasha on the two of them. And according to Beis Hillel, right, in Rav Meir, so he says chamin lo tashil. But over there, if you hold it this way, then Chamilot Hafshil will be mutter by Shia. No, it's everything is mutter, and Beis Shammai would just be a kasha. There's no chazara. And Rabbi Yehuda, and if it's Rabbi Yehuda, kasha grufa ktuma, it's a kasha and grufa ktuma, because according to Rabbi Yehuda, our Mishnah permits garfakatum for Shia, and you don't need to be garfakatum. And this brisa, with Rabbi Yehuda, holds that in order to do Shia, you need garfakatum. So Gemara says, really, our Mishnah is going to be lahachzitan. The Tana did on in our Mishnah, in our Tana, Rabbi Yehuda b'chada, Palag b'chada. So you're right. It doesn't go exactly like either one of the Shitas, Rabbi Meir or Rabbi Yehuda, but it argues with Rabbi Yehuda, but only in one case, right? Rabbi Yehuda b'chada, b'chamin b'tavshil, noitlin machzir. And it holds like Rabbi Yehuda, and over here in Beis Hillel, both cases hold that it's by both water and a cooked dish. The noitlin machzir, and you can go ahead and take it. And in Palig b'chada, the ilu Tana didan, our Mishnah holds several shayis alfish and garvakatum. Our Mishnah holds that since we're talking about chazara, therefore Shia is mutter even in her garvakatum. Rabbi Yehuda, however, Rabbi Yehuda, this brisa several shayis nami garvakatum mean, but this brisa Rabbi Yehuda holds no. The only way you can do Shia is with garvakatum, yes, but elo. But if it's not shoveled out or it's not covered, then lo. Then you would not be able to. So now it comes out that we do not have a maskana in our Mishnah. We do not prove that our Mishnah is talking about either way, and that's why it remains right a machlokes in terms of how to understand the Mishnah, and in which cases then it will be permitted for garfakatum. Now, new question. Iboilu question was asked. Mahu lismach ba seicha. Mahu lismach ba. What is the halacha when it comes to do smicha? In other words, put it next to the fire. Put it next to this open fire. So Teicha v'gaba aser, do we say that on it or in it is aser? But next to it is okay, huh? Is it chazara? I think even Shia, if it's talking about in a garvakatum, right? So ma'azik there eitzel dafin akir below gerufa shakir metalaz. Yeah, I think we should right leave it there, right? So let's see. Oh, Dilma, Leishna, or maybe it doesn't make a difference. So Tashma, come and listen. It probably makes a difference how you learn the first Mishnah. So Tashma, come and listen. Sorry, just my son was there. He asked a question. So Tashma, Shtei Kiros Hemasamas, Achas Grufa of Ktuma, V'achas Shena Grufa of Ktuma. So we just saw this case earlier. We have let's say a twin stove, and one of them is shoveled or covered. V'achas Shena Grufa of Ktuma. So Mashin al Gabe Grufa Ktuma, V'afagav de Kasalik Le Havela Miidach. And it says over there, you can leave the one on the one that's already shoveled or covered next to the other one, even though it's benefiting from the heat. It's samuch to it. So l'chayra, this is the same case as samuch, and it says you're allowed to do it. So the Gemara says no. Dilma shani hasam over there is different. Kevan, the kevan, the medalia shali be'avir. Since over there it's higher up and it's a little farther away from the lower fire because the fire in the stove is underneath, right? And it comes up. So since there's a lot of space in the air, so therefore maybe it's considered to be different. So Tashma, come listen. Damar Rabbi Safra Merat Chiyah Kitma V'Nislafta. So let's say you went ahead and you shoveled it out, but then it started to light up again. So in other words, it sort of undid your shoveling. So Saimchila Umekaimin Aleha. So you're allowed to go ahead and put it next to it. Saimchila Umekaimin Aleha.
You stoke the fire.
I'm sorry?
You stoke the fire by shoveling.
Well, in the beginning, right? You shoveled it out to remove the burning coals, but now on Shabbos, it sort of came undone on its own.
Ah, okay.
So Saimchila, you can put something next to it. And you could also go ahead and be mekaymet. In other words, leave something on it. But and you also can take something from it. And you can return it. So shmamina lismaichanami. It sounds like over here, kitma'in, like kitma'lo. It sounds over here because it started off with a case where the guy covered it or he shoveled it. So it sounds like only if he shoveled it, not if he didn't shovel it. So Gemara says, according to what you're saying, nightly mimena, diktani. Well, it says you're allowed to take food off of the fire, right? So diktani. Kitma'in like kitma'lo. What are you saying? That you're only allowed to take food off fire if it's shoveled, but if it's not fire, you can't take it off. Obviously, we know that's not true. You can always take it off. Sa'ela, tananaitlin meshum machzir. The reason why it says you took it out the fire is to teach you the halacha that you're allowed to be chayzer, bring it back. And hachanami, so it's over here, tanas samchi. Maybe it says over there samchi. You can go ahead and put it next to meshum mekaimi because you want to teach a halacha of leaving it there. So hachi hashta, how could you compare the two? Hasam naitlin machzir and chad makan who. Over there, if you take something, if you return it, it's the same place. So therefore, it has to say you took it in order to be chayzer, you return to the same place. But over here, right? But over here, you can leave it in one place, and we're talking about that can be referring to two different cases and leave it there. So in other words, it's not necessarily a good proof. So my haviola. So no, what's the halacha by putting it samach? So tashma. Kira shesikua, the gefes of eitzim. If you have a stove that was heated, is fueled with wood or sesame oil, you're allowed to go ahead and put the foods next to it. The ein mekaimin elim kain gruvaktum. You can only leave it there if it's garavakatum. So gechalim and gechalim shamu o shnasala na'arasha pishtin daka. Or if you have coals, right, that I guess they were heated. Right, and then I guess you covered it with this flax or something light. Harei ketuma. That's considered to be ketuma, and that's considered to be covered, which one would be allowed to go ahead and I guess leave it there on top. Right, so you can't be mekayim if it's in that case. And Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, Bar Nachmani, Amar Boishia, kitma v'huvra. Once again, a person, let's say he covers it or he shovels it, and then it comes up on its own. You're allowed to go ahead and leave water on there. And also, you're allowed to leave food as long as it was cooked mostly, right? So shmamina, should we learn from here, mitstamik v'yafalo? So now we're going to talk about mitstamik. All right, mitstamik means that if something is left on the fire, that it gets smaller, right? It cooks more, and therefore it sort of condenses through the heat. Now, it's a question of yafalo or asurlo, right? Some foods, I guess the more it cooks, it gets smaller, the better it is. And some cooks that you don't want it to heat too much, so it's a virolo, right? So over here, we're talking about a top shield, right, that he put on. So obviously, we're talking about if it was just something that it's not good for it, so then there were no reason to tell us why they add water. So it must be a reason why we said water on top of it and cooked food that was on it, right? And you leave it on there. So it must be talking about a case that shmami no mitzvah if you have a mutter, and you said you got to leave it on there. So do we say that if you leave something on there, and then even though despite the fact it's good, maybe if it's good for it to be on a fire, maybe a person will come stoke that fire, And we don't want that. So perhaps if it's good for it, we don't want him to leave it on the fire because he might come make the fire, stoke it, or do something which we usher. So can we learn from here? Stomach for yafala. If he leaves it on the fire, that's good. So the Gemara says, no, Shani Hacha here is different than Keeping. Over here, we're talking about a case where it was originally shoveled. Since it was originally shoveled, even despite the fact that it came back, he can leave it on there. See, if that's the case, what's a chiddush here, right? That was covered. So the Gemara says, no, huvra it's declared. No, but the fact that it came back is the chiddush here. Mount Hemojivs that came into huvra, hajala milsa kamaisa. Maybe the fact that the fire came back, it's like it was never shoveled in the first place. So kamash balan, we still consider like it was fire. It was shoveled and go ahead and leave the food on, despite the fact that it's beneficial for the food to stay on it. And Amar Rav Chanan, Rav Yechanan, Kitma v'Huvra, if something was, once again, if it was shoveled, but then the fire came back, Mashin le Chamin, you're allowed to go ahead and leave it hot water, Shulchan Chatzarkan, the hot water was already cooked, or Matavshil, Shabich Chatzarkan, or food that was already cooked. The Afilu Gechalim Sharaisim, even if it was these very hot coals of Raisim, right? I guess a different type of specific type of fuel. What does it say over there in the English? Rosenwood, right? A rosenwood, I guess, is very good. Rosenwood. So shmamina. It's stuff if you have a little mutter. So we learn from here that something is good for it that's mutter. So why else are you teaching a food which was cooked? Must be that it's good to even cook it more, and therefore, to make it well done, it'll be a yafelo. So one says, no, shani hacha to keep. Over here, we're talking about a case where it was originally shoveled. If that's the case, what's a chiddush? Huvra of eat strictly? No. It's going to teach you that maybe we said like earlier that if you shovel that maybe since it comes back, maybe it's like a new fire that was never shoveled. So eat strictly. So Gemara says, "Hi no haf." We just made that chiddush. So what's the chiddush here? So gechalam sharayim eat strictly. No, to teach you that even though these coals, right, are much stronger fire and much greater source of heat, nevertheless, we're not worried that person will come stoke the fire. So. Amar Rav Sheishes, Amar Rav Yechanan, Kira Sheskua Begefes Ve'etzim, Mashin Le Chamen Shalahuchmul Kol Tzarcha, and Betapsh Shalabishal Kol Tzarcha. Says Rav Sheishes, the name of Rav Yechanan. So a stove which was fueled by wood or oil, so you're allowed to go ahead and leave food on there, hot food on there, that was not, or hot water that was not heated all the way, or food that wasn't cooked completely. Akar. But once you go ahead and you remove it, lo yachzer, you can't go ahead and put it back, ad shayigrov or ad shiten afer, unless it's shoveled or there you covered it with ash. Ksaver masnis, and it must be that he holds the masnis. Our mission is talking about chazara, when you need it stoked, when you need it, when you need it shoveled or covered. About lishais, but to leave it on, but to leave it on, then you could even leave it on, even if it wasn't covered or proper groove of ktuma, which would be the first way of explaining the Mishnah. And Amar Rava, says Rava, Tarvayu, Tanina, Lishais. Actually, we have two cases, Lishais. Two cases to tell us by Lishais. Tanina, one case is Einos a pas b'sechatan or im chashecha v'locharaga b'chalam ela kadei shiknu panel. One cannot go ahead and leave bread or dough inside an oven as it gets dark. Right, or a piece a piece of bread also on the coals, unless it's already partially cooked, unless there's enough time for it to go ahead and for it to crust over. But if it is, there is time to shari lahachzer, then it's mutter shari. But if it's able to go ahead and then you're able to go ahead and leave it on as long as there's enough time for it to crust over. And lahachzer nami also do chazar also. Tanina, we learned Beis Hillel af machzirin can even be machzir ad kan like kashara Beis Hillel el the gruv ktuma. But that which Beis Hillel said you can do chazara. We're only talking about a case of where it was gruv ktuma. But if it was not going ahead and properly covered or shoveled, then you would not be able to. Rav Sheshes nami duka d'masnis, and Rav Sheshes also came to teach us a duka d'masnis. In other words, he wasn't coming to be mechadish. Rather, he was just saying. He pointed out both these cases from our Mishnah. Amar Rav Shmuel Bar Yehuda Amar Rav Yechanan Kira Sheskua Begeves Ve'etzim Mashin Aleh Tavshil Shabisha Kol Tzarko. A stove that was fueled by wood or oil, you're allowed to go ahead and leave a tavshil that was already cooked, or hot water that was already heated up. And even if by leaving it on, it's beneficial for it. We're not worried he's going to stoke the fire. What do you mean? But Rav and Shmuel both hold that if you go ahead and leave it on and it's good for it, that it's usher. You're not allowed to do that. So I'm like, Atu les lana yada. Well, you don't think I know that? The Amar Rav Yisem Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel Mitzvah Yafel Aser. I already know that Rav Yehuda says the name of Shmuel that Mitzvah Yafel is Aser. So ki kamin lecha. When did I want to tell you? Rabbi Yechon, according to Rabbi Yechon, kamina. That's what I intend to tell you. Now it's machlokes between Rabbi Yechon and Rav and Shmuel. So I'm like Rav Ukva Mishan Rav Ashi says Rav Ukva from Mishan to Rav Ashi. Asun the Merkavin Rav Shmuel. You guys that live closer to Rav and Shmuel, Aviduk Rav Shmuel, you told like Rav Shmuel that mistavik v'yafalo, that if a case where it's beneficial to be on the fire, then it's aser to leave it on the fire. And however, if it's not garvakatum and on us. Navi Rabbi Yechon. We hold like Rabbi Yechon, who hold his mutters. Amalei Abayla Rabbi Yosef. Ma'u lishais. What's halach about leaving it on? Can you go ahead and do shia? Can you leave it on without garvakatum? So Amalei Ha Rabbi Yehuda Mashilei v'achil. Well, Rabbi Yehuda used to go ahead and leave it on, even though it was not garvakatum, right? And he would eat it. Amalei Bar Minid Rabbi Yehuda. Do not include Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda. Why? The Kevin the Mesukan who afil b'Shabbos nami sharli me'avilei. Since he was very sick, therefore. Even on Shabbos, we mutter to go ahead and put it on. In other words, it was a question of for his life, for his health. So li l'cha, so me and you, what's halacha by us? So Amarle, so besura insur mashu. They used to go ahead and leave it on. Taharav Nachman bar Yitzchak mare de uvdahavi. Well, mashule v'achile that over there, that Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, he had this ma'isa and he left the food on, and even though it was in garvakatim, he ate it. And Amar Rav Ashi kamina kamei de Ravuna. The shaylei kisa the harsna. So he said he was there, and they left on a kisa like this, like a fish dish, v'yachol, and he ate it. V'loyadina imishum d'ksav mistam v'yafalo mutter. I didn't know the reason why he left it on. It was mutter was if he held mistam v'yafalo. No, even though it was beneficial, it was still mutter. Imishum came at the islay v'amicha mistam v'ralo, or by the fact that since there was some sort of flour in it, therefore it was not considered to be beneficial. Rather, if there's flour in it, it's detrimental. So maybe it was detrimental for it, and then viralo, and that's the reason why it was mutter to leave it on. And Amar Rav Nachman mitzvah v'yafalo aser. And says Rav Nachman, so if it's beneficial for it, it's aser mitzvah viralo. But if it's detrimental to it, then it's mutter to leave it on the fire. And klal the milsa, the rule is called is beimicha mitzvah viralo. If it has some sort of, I guess, flour in it, then it's detrimental and it's not good for it, and then therefore it would be permitted to leave it on there. Labar, except for mitavshel, the lipsa, except for a lipsa is a radish dish. Diafagav, the izbei micha, even though it has some sort of flour, mitzvah v'yafalo. Even though it has flour, it's still good for it because I guess the radishes, I guess it helps, make it. So therefore, perhaps that would be problematic. Bahani milin, this is only talking about the izbei bisra, when there's only meat in it. When there is some meat in it, then it makes it mutar. Less bei misra, mitzvah viralo. But if there is no meat in it, then it's not good to overcook it, and therefore it's ralo, and therefore it will be permitted because we're not worried about stoking the fire. And even that which he said, there's meat in it, it's yafelo, lo amran ella delay kavale orchin. If he doesn't have guests, right? If he doesn't have guests, because remember, as it cooks, it gets smaller and smaller. If he doesn't have guests, orchin, if he has guests, then he doesn't want it to get smaller because then he won't be able to feed as many. And virello, and leave the daisa v'tari mitzvah v'ra lehet. And also dishes of figs, right? Daisa is like cereal. V'tari and dates are also, those are all cases of if you overcook it, it's detrimental, and therefore it would be mutter. And then we will stop here, and I got everyone in time for their brissim. So shkayach for everybody for coming. So tomorrow, I think we'll start at 7:30, and once again, we got to worry about the second day's yanta. So we'll try and do a blot and a half tomorrow. Obviously, today we did 2.5 blots, so we should be able
Today
to
we rocked it
tomorrow.